As you are aware that humans are sexually reproducing babivorous organism, right? And there are certain events. These are reproductive events in human that includes first gametogenesis, then insemination, then fertilization, leading to formation of zygote, and this uh, attachment to the and development of zygote further into blastocyst, and this blastocyst get implanted in the uterine wall, followed by the embryonic development, that is gestation, and then parturition, right? So we all these events like gametogenesis, insemination, fertilization, zygote formation, blastocyst formation, and implantation and parturition occurs after puberty, right? But is it always true? No. In male, the gametogenesis begins after puberty, but in females, it begins in the embryonic stage in the intrauterine life, right? Then this is the main difference, and even in older male, the gametogenesis continues to happen, but in females, after 50 years, this ovum generation ceases. And there is a pelvic region where there are pelvic bones which are two in number. These are coxal bone, hip bone, or innomate bone, and there is pubic symphysis in between them that relaxes during the parturition process, and there is a cavity between the pelvic bone. This is pelvis cavity. Now this cavity is pelvis. Now male reproductive organ में these are located in the pelvis region, which includes pair of testes along with accessory duct, glands, and external genitalia. So what are these? These are the testes, accessory duct, glands, and external genitalia. Now these structures are situated outside the abdominal cavity. Why these are located here? To maintain the temperature, and this temperature is 2 to 2.5 degree lower than the normal temperature. Now as we know that the hyperthermia, that is increased temperature, inhibits the production of male gametes, so it has to be kept in the temperature lower than the body temperature, which is 2 to 2.5 degree lower than the normal body temperature. Now descending of this structure starts during the 7th month of the pregnancy, and it completely descends in the 8th month. Now this is due to increased testosterone in the intrauterine life. Now this is the time where the testosterone increases, and then after birth it will again increase at the puberty. Now if this is not happening, the condition is called cryptorchidism, and this cryptorchidism can be treated by surgical method which is called orchipexy. Now we know that this temperature is necessary. Now let's talk about the dimension. The dimension is 2 to 3 centimeter width, 4 to 5 centimeter length. Now each testis is covered by dense covering. Now this dense covering is called what? Is called fibrous connective tissue. Now this dense covering is fibrous connective tissue, and each testis has so many compartments. These compartments are 250 in number, and these are called testicular lobes. What are these called? Testicular lobes. So in each testis there is 250 compartments, so there are two structures, so 2 into 250 is equal to total 500 testicular lobes are present, and in each testicular lobe 1 to 3 seminal seminiferous tubules may be found. So total seminiferous tubules is 500 into 1 to 3, that is about 500 to 1000 or 150 seminiferous tubules may be found. So basically each lobe contains 1 to 3 highly coiled structure called seminiferous tubule. Now the question is, seminiferous tubule is coiled structure or highly coiled? Highly coiled structure. Each seminiferous tubule is lined on its side by two type of cells. So if this is seminiferous tubule, so inside it there is two type of cell. First cell is called male germ cell, that is spermatogonia, and the other cell is called Sertoli cell. Sertoli cell. The male germ cells undergo meiotic division, finally leading to the sperm formation, while the Sertoli cell provides nourishment to the germ cell. And the region outside the seminiferous tubules are called interstitial spaces, which contains blood vessels, and interstitial cells, which are also called Leydig cell. Now this Leydig cell can synthesize testicular hormone. This hormone is androgen, particularly testosterone, and there are certain other immunologically competent cells present. Now, what are these immunologically competent cells? These are actually white blood cells which prevents the male gamete from further infection by bacteria, virus, and so on. Right. So this is the main structure where we have this testicular lobules, which are 200 to 500 250 in number in each testes, and in each lobe what we have 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule. Now seminiferous tubules are what? These are highly coiled structures. Now seminiferous tubules open into a structure called rete testis. वहाँ से क्या निकलेगा? Vasa efferentia. Then it will lead to epididymis, which has 3 parts, and from here there is a structure called, now epididymis is basically a reason which is the longest duct in the reproductive system. It is paired structure, as we all know. There is one epididymis on this side and another on this side, and it is the part where the male gamete will attain maturity. So this is the main significance of the epididymis, that is functional maturation of the male gamete. Now then it will pass through the vas deferens, wherein it is stored for up to 3 months. So vas deferens is mainly concerned with storage for up to 3 months, and then it will loop over the ureter and join seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle के बाद it will form what? Ejaculatory duct. Then there is prostate gland. Now prostate gland is unpaired gland, whereas seminal vesicle is paired structure and it gives maximum contribution to the semen. And then there is bulbourethral gland, which is also called Cowper's gland, that is unpaired. Then there is urethra, which has many reasons like prostatic urethra, membranous urethra, and penile urethra, right? And this is the prepuce region, and that's the glans region. So this is the diagrammatic view of the male reproductive system, wherein it starts with the testicular lobes, inside which there is 1 to 3 seminiferous tubule, that is highly coiled structure. What is the number of testicular lobes? 250 testicular lobes, which opens into rete testis. Rete testis opens into vasa efferentia, which is 10 to 12 in number. Then there is epididymis, which is longest duct, and maturity यहाँ पे होगा. Then there is vas deferens, यहाँ पे 3 month तक storage होगा. Then it will join the seminal vesicle and it will form what? It will form ejaculatory duct. Then there is single unpaired prostate gland, and then there is bulbourethral gland, and then there is urethra. So the male accessory sex duct include, these duct include first rete testis, then vasa efferentia, that is 10 to 12 in number, then epididymis and vas deferens. So seminiferous tubule is not a part of accessory duct. Accessory duct starts from rete testis and it goes up to vas deferens. So there is rete testis, then there will be vasa efferentia, then epididymis, and then this vas deferens. So these are accessory duct in males. Now seminiferous tubules of the testis opens into the vasa efferentia through rete testis. That is simple thing, is the through rete testis the seminiferous tubules of the this structure opens into vasa efferentia. Now the vasa efferentia leaves the testes and opens into epididymis, which is located on the posterior surface. Now this is again important point to note, that the epididymis is located on the posterior surface, not on the anterior surface. It is located on the posterior surface. Now this epididymis leads to vas deferens that ascends to the abdomen, loops over the urinary bladder, receives a duct from seminal vesicle, and opens into urethra as the ejaculatory duct. So this urethra the opening is as ejaculatory duct. So when the vas deferens loops over the urinary bladder, it receives a duct from seminal vesicle, which is a paired accessory gland, right? And then it will open as ejaculatory duct into the urethra. Now these ducts store and transport the sperm and the outside the testis and through the urethra. So this is urethra. Urethra is common structure for passage of urine and the male gamete. So this is urinogenital tract, right? Now urethra originates from urinary bladder and extends through the external genitalia to its external opening called external urethral meatus. Now we were talking about this seminiferous tubule. Now in one testis there is 250 testicular lobes, and in each lobe what you see is 1 to 3 highly coiled seminiferous tubule wherein spermatogenesis will occur. And in this seminiferous tubule you get two type of cell. First is male germ cell, which is called to as spermatogonia, and there is Sertoli cell. Now this spermatogonia undergoes meiosis to form the male gamete, and this leading cell or interstitial cell is present outside the seminiferous tubule in the interstitial spaces, and there are certain also immunologically competent cell here. And inside the seminiferous tubule there is another cell called Sertoli cell, sustentacular cell, nurse cell, which is for having dense cytoplasm, and those cells that are having dense cytoplasm are generally secretory in nature and function is nourishment of the male germ cell, spermatogonia or whatsoever. Now the Sertoli cell is also called sustentacular cell or nurse cell, is responsible for releasing three things. First, it will release androgen binding protein. Second, it will release inhibin hormone, and third, it will release anti-Mullerian factor, that is AMF. So three things are released from Sertoli cells. These are androgen binding protein, inhibin, and anti-Mullerian factor. And this spermatogenic cell, what it is doing, it is forming the male gamete, spermatozoa. Now the external genitalia is basically made up of a special type of tissue. This tissue is basically corpora cavernosa and corpus spongiosum. It will facilitate insemination. Now this is most important point, and the enlarged end of this structure is called glands, which is covered by loose fold skin called foreskin or prepuce. And the male accessory glands, accessory gland includes pair of seminal vesicle, unpaired prostate gland, and a paired bulbourethral gland. Now secretions of these glands contribute the seminal plasma, which is rich in what? This seminal plasma, if we are talking of this, so it is rich in fructose, it is rich in then calcium ion, and there are certain enzymes, and the secretion of bulbourethral gland will also help in lubrication. Now if we are talking of this seminal plasma, so this is secretion of seminal vesicle plus prostate gland plus bulbourethral gland. Maximum contribution is from the seminal vesicle, which is a paired gland, accessory gland. Prostate gland is unpaired, while bulbourethral gland is also paired structure. Now this includes what? The secretion of seminal plasma include fructose, which acts as the fuel, calcium, that is helpful in the relaxation of the female reproductive system, and it is also helpful in the movement of the male gamete, and then there are certain enzymes also. Now this concludes this part.